And hello and welcome to Golden Bear Insider. Glad you could join us here for our May show, final show of the academic year. Dan Flanagan with you, joined to start the show by Tom Rubbelke. We've got 4 sports to get to today as we wrap up the 2015-16 campaign, and we are going to start out with track and field. We are joined by head coach Sam Johnson and also sophomore multi-event athlete Josh Johanson. Thank you very much, both of you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
And the multi-event, as I mentioned, Josh, you took part in that. We're going to talk about that quite a bit, but I know a few other meets from over the past month as well. Can you just kind of give us the highlights of some of the things that have been going on?
Well, the host invite, our home meet that we hosted on April 16th this year was a huge success, the largest version of that meet we've ever hosted. It was a very hot day, hot and windy, so wasn't great for distance running conditions, but our sprinters loved it. Jumpers loved it, and I mean, it was a nice event and an exhausting event for the staff for sure.
How many teams we have for that this year?
We had like 34, 35 teams,
yeah.
So it was an amazing day, and you know, we look to continue to host a tradition like that. It's we do a good job when we host, so that's why teams like to keep coming back.
It was just full of hustle and bustle. There's kids, there were athletes everywhere. Yep. Good crowds. The traffic was really cool. Yeah. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of events on campus that weekend, and traffic was certainly elevated.
Really
so,
Josh, what's it like from your perspective as an athlete, kind of preparing for that event, hosting it? I'm sure there's a little bit of extra work, and then competing on your campus as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a lot of work being put into training on and off the track. It's just an awesome experience overall, seeing all these great athletes in one area, this small little track that we have, and it's the atmosphere is just unreal. I mean, you feel the adrenaline, and it makes you up your performance level, and it's an awesome feeling. So.
Is that kind of the goal, Sam, to just keep making it a little bit bigger every year, or something that teams really kind of make a highlight of their schedule? Maybe not size-wise, but I
think so. We want to continue to elevate the level of competition at the home meet, but honestly, I don't know how much more we can handle from a capacity standpoint if we keep it just to be a one-day meet, which is always a little bit better for our campus, just trying to hold things to a one-day meet. But we'll certainly continue to try to bring in quality teams and quality athletes, and it's always fun to set it up with a nice day of track and field when the weather is great. So.
We have a lot of individuals that what do they call them, unattached? Do we have a lot of unattached on this meet?
We did have a lot of unattached individuals that kind of came from the community. I mean, being a metro area, there's a lot of just athletes that have just graduated from other schools that come to the Twin Cities to find jobs, and so they're still in that kind of state of training, but not really training, not ready to give up the sport, and they're still very competitive. So they like to register for our meet and show up and light the track up a little bit.
And coming off the multi-event, as I mentioned, you had strong performances from the men, including Josh in the decathlon, some women in the heptathlon as well. It seems like over the past couple of years, that's been a real strength of this team. What do you think it is that makes your multi-event athletes so successful?
Well, the last couple of years in particular, we've had a great staff that has kind of emphasized the multi-event athletes. But you can't just have a staff. You have to have the athletes that are willing to put in the work and the energy. It's a grueling event to train for. You have 7 events for the women, 10 events for the men that require a lot of different skills and a lot of different training capacities that have to be touched on every single week. So you can't just get it done in an hour a day or even an hour and a half, 2 hours. Sometimes it takes 3 hours a day. And so you got to really have the athletes for one, and then a staff that's willing to dedicate the extra time to really work with kids that maybe never have pole vaulted before, maybe have never hurdled like Josh before this season. We kind of put a lot on him this year. So.
Yeah, Josh, I know that you're relatively new to the decathlon. When did you kind of make that decision that you're going to take part in that event this year?
Kind of just discussed it with the coaches, and we kind of thought maybe that's a place where I can benefit personally on an athletic level, and help the team out, gain some points in that area. And I've always kind of thought with the whole decathlon thing, I want to become the greatest athlete I can be, and at this point in my life, I'm young, I'm healthy, why not shoot for the stars on this and go for everything. So
good for you.
Yeah.
What do you kind of look for in athletes that maybe haven't done it before that could become decathletes or heptathletes?
Work capacity. Work capacity is the biggest one, and just the desire and the willingness to put in the extra hours. We already talked about how much extra work it takes, but the flip side of that is the body has to be able to take that beating too. So the ability to handle the workload that is required of a decathlete is very huge. And we certainly don't make it through a season without having some bumps and bruises and battling through things, but that's just part of the event itself too.
How did you feel about your result, Josh?
I'm never really satisfied, I guess, in a way. I'm happy with, the marks, like getting marks. Now I know, all right, this is what I have to beat. This is where I'm starting at. And I've always kind of said to myself, where something starts is not like, predetermined on where you're going to end. So like I said, I have the marks, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to break them every time. And track, for me, like, it's so awesome because it's an individual sport, as everyone knows, and it's my failures, it's on me. My success, it's on me. So I'm going to go out there and try to break my PR every time, and maybe that'll get me top 5, if not a win, at some point in decathlon.
So do you, during an average day of practice, you work on certain events more than others? Do you work on them? Do you work on events that you need to get your mark up a little bit higher, a little bit more than others, or do you?
There's some events like the high jump. I came into Concordia as just a high jumper, and that's quote unquote my bread and butter.
Right.
But there's, like I said, I learned 9 new events here, and it's, for me, I like to, I guess I kind of go with whatever Coach Sam has to say here, Colin, one of my other coaches, whatever they say, I'm going to do. And usually I'll go in even if they don't tell me to, and I'll go in and I'll put in extra work. And I guess whatever comes to my mind, I'm going to go out and do.
Yeah. So you're his bread and butter. Okay, so he doesn't have to work that much. He still has to work on it, but the other events that he needs a little bit more work on. Do you find yourself not working as much as you should on a certain event?
There's definitely some events like pole vault, for example. Like after the meet down in Missouri, I didn't really touch a pole vault until the conference meet last weekend, and there's a lot of scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. But if you can fit in the time to do a certain event, I'm going to be out there doing it right away. And for high jump, I said, yeah, it's my bread and butter, but you can't just let it go. You have to keep working on it, to keep improving, and that's what I want to keep doing. So.
Do you look forward to, I know the Olympics are coming up this summer, kind of seeing your sport take a little more of a national stage than it does in an average year?
Definitely. I've been watching a lot of Ashton Eaton videos, and he's kind of my role model. And, it's just crazy seeing how incredible these athletes perform, and it drives you. I've always thought, hey, if he can run a 45 flat in a 400, why can't I? Even though that's way off in the training critique, but it's
Something to push for.
Yeah, it's something to push for, and I just love seeing these awesome athletes go out and just do things that aren't almost meant to be done, and it drives me to, push myself to the absolute limit.
Yep. Next weekend you got conference coming up. What's sort of the focus right now as you prepare for that meet?
We have a last regular season meet this weekend in Winona, so the goal is to come out of that meet unscathed. We don't want to have any major injuries, so athletes are going to kind of be working in a different event area than what they maybe typically do, so we're going to lower the volume on that meet day. And then, just there's some of the nagging injuries that we do have existing for some of our athletes, so we come into the conference meet fresh and ready to go. It's going to be a really light week of preparation next week. And then we're going to get out of town Thursday afternoon, have a pre-meet day when we get to Sioux Falls on Thursday evening, and then it's compete Friday, Saturday. So The kids are getting excited. They're going to have a whole week with nothing to do on campus, so we got to keep them occupied a little bit. But it's great because you feel kind of like a professional athlete. You don't have any other responsibilities. You just get to sit around and train and be with your teammates and really just soak up the last week of the season. So we're looking forward to it.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us here throughout the past several months, Sam, and Josh, for this show as well, and good luck going forward.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Sam Johnson and Josh Johanson from track and field, and that conference meet is coming up the 13th and 14th of May, as Sam mentioned, in Sioux Falls down on the Augustana campus. So a lot of hard work for those track athletes, and it'll be fun to watch them wrap up here over the next week or so.
They really do work hard. They're in that Gangolf Center. Now they're outside a lot, but they're in that Gangolf Center all winter long. They work really hard.
And so we've got golf coming up here. We'll continue on with the show as we're live from Buffalo Wild Wings on Snelling Avenue in St. Paul, just a few blocks from the Concordia campus. Certainly want to thank them for their hospitality throughout the year as well, and encourage you to come visit them. Easy to find just right off Snelling Avenue here in St. Paul. But we do continue on now with Golden Bear Insider, Dan Flanagan, Tom Rubbelke with you, and now joined fresh off the heels of a very exciting regional tournament down in Missouri. The women's golf team with head coach Taylor Auman and Rachel Gray. And Rachel qualifying for nationals after that tournament. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so I guess just in general, what was kind of the atmosphere like at Regions? You know, I know the team was pretty close to qualifying. You ended up making it. It had to be pretty crazy atmosphere.
Yeah, it was a lot of up and downs. The whole tournament, it was like, you know, you're at the top of the roller coaster and then you're at the bottom of the roller coaster, and even just after all the scores were in and then they had to qualify to see which team would go to nationals, that was probably the most stressful part of the whole tournament, was waiting around to see what was going to happen.
Then they had a tie.
Yes. So Missouri Western and Arkansas Tech tied for third place, and they do a playoff. So the format of the playoff is they have all 5 players play off, and it's all based on strokes, so it's not match play. So they send 3 girls from one team and 2 girls from the other team. They go off in the first group, and then the 3 girls from the other team, and then the 2 girls, they go off. So we walked with the first group and we saw, you know, a couple bogeys, a couple pars, and then the second group comes up and they did the same thing. So they tied. We moved to the second hole. Same exact thing happened. We moved to the third hole. And it really all came down to Missouri Western girl draining her birdie putt.
Really?
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
How long apart was that?
It wasn't a gimme. It was probably, I'd guess, like 15 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
It had to be pretty exciting. I mean, not a typical golf tournament atmosphere, I'm
No.
sure, with everybody falling around, cheering,
Yeah.
all these type of things. How much fun was that to just get a feel for like almost a different, more of a competitive spectator
Yeah,
sport?
definitely. One of the girls on the team said that she felt like she was watching the LPGA. Like, it was everything was taking so long and they were overthinking every shot, and we were like, just hit the ball, you know what you're doing. So there was a lot of sitting around, but it really did feel like you were at a professional event. And I was talking to some other people about, you know, preparing for that type of pressure, and there's no way that you can prepare for a playoff to get to nationals. The only way you know what to do is by doing it. And so it was a toss-up between which team it was going to be, because neither team has done it before.
And your team ended it. You finished the tournament in 6th, right?
Yes.
You were 3 strokes
3 strokes
off the.
from the playoff.
From making it, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
You guys just played lights out the whole.
Oh yeah, we were in it the whole way, which is awesome.
Yeah. So then now you're going to go on to Denver.
Yes.
You're going to play out in Denver.
Yes.
And I just looking at the format earlier today, I believe you start on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday's the practice round, and then
Okay.
I play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You got to play 4 rounds out there.
4 rounds, yeah.
Yeah. Wednesday through Saturday. Then
Yep.
it's a fall or it's a spring festival.
Yes.
So there's more than it's men's golf, women's lacrosse, and softball, I believe, is out there at the same time.
Every spring sport has their nationals this week at this time.
Yep.
And so there's like a big festival. They say that it's like the Olympics. They
It's
have an
really
opening
fun.
ceremony and a closing ceremony, and
Yep.
I have no idea what to expect. They do it every 4 years.
We were out there. I was out there a number of years ago with the women's volleyball program, and it was down in Louisville.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's what's really interesting is it gives you an opportunity to go out and maybe see something that you normally wouldn't see.
Yeah.
You go out and watch a lacrosse. We've never seen a lacrosse match.
Yeah,
Give you a
definitely.
chance to go out and see a lacrosse match, maybe. You know, we will see them next year.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we start it up, but
Yeah.
it's a great event. So anyway, I'm really happy for you. Really proud of you, and you did a
Thank
great job. Tell us a little bit more about the team. How the rest of the girls finish up.
They We finished very well. I mean, the team was in it the whole entire time. I was very, very proud of them. First day, we shot 300. I mean, that was our best tournament round this whole year. I was very impressed. Some of the girls really stuck with it, you know, all 18 holes. And then we made a lot of birdies. That first day, I think we made 16 birdies as a team,
Yeah.
and that was very, very impressive. We usually don't make that many, so that was really cool. And then the second day, 301, we were still in it. We were sitting in 4th place, and I told the team that's where I would want to sit. In that second grouping, you know, not knowing what's going on in that first group and just being kind of content with where we're at, but just fighting every single hole. And I think the stat was we were even par as a team, like from 11 to 18.
Our last 11 holes.
Yeah, our last 11
Yeah.
holes. That's so impressive to me.
For the last day.
Yeah.
That's the most pressure that you have is that final day. So
Yeah.
for the team to be able to perform. And I want to give a special shout out to Brittany, who just had an unbelievable tournament. And we gave her a hard time because we said, you've been holding out on us this whole year. But she was really the star of the show. She played so well. She shot 36 on the backside. She's what helped us really propel to having those even par last 11 holes, because she played even par on that backside. No birdies, no bogeys, just parred everything, which is so awesome. We're so happy for her. Yeah.
How do you kind of balance that? I guess, Taylor, how were you coaching them to, you're obviously scoreboard watching to some extent, wanting to know where you're at, but just staying within yourself too and playing your own game. Obviously everyone did a pretty good job of that.
Exactly, and I know who needs to have someone to walk with, and who, like Rachel and Savannah, they're good on their own. They know what they're doing. They get in a certain zone. And Brittany and Carrie and Sheridan, they all, you know, like to have a little bit of talking, you know, not about golf maybe, or strategy talk or something like that. So I told them the night before, the last day, I said, all right, well, you know, Rachel and Savannah know that I'm not going to see them as much. So that was the plan, and they knew that was the plan going into it. And you know, we did our best, and I'm very, very proud of them. They stuck to the game plan, and I mean, all we can do is our best. So, very proud of them.
How was the course?
The course was in really great shape. The practice round, the weather was terrible. It was super duper windy, and it was freezing, and they had just gotten a lot of rain, and so they said that it was exactly what the course needed for it to dry out, because it was wet when we played. But the last 3 days, it was like the weather got better each day, got a little bit warmer. Yesterday it was a little bit windier, but we're used to playing in the wind at this point, so yeah, we couldn't have asked for better weather.
When you play in such poor weather a lot of times early in the year, how much of a boost is that when you go out there and it's actually good conditions?
Yeah, it's a huge blessing, because you just expect to play in bad weather, but we had 2 weeks of practice leading into regionals, and I think we had one actual sunny day. It rained every day, and it's frustrating because you're like, I just want to have one good day of practice where I don't want to just practice and get everything done and go back inside. But I think it's a boost our confidence level when we get to play in good weather too, because it's just one less thing that you have to think about. You can just go out and play.
Or go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, on campus we have a lot of really good student athletes, a lot of really good people. And I had the opportunity and pleasure of going with them, with the women's team down to Springfield, Missouri a couple of weeks ago. And I'll tell you, it was a long drive, but it was a lot of fun. I had a great time getting to know the girls a little bit better. They're nice, pleasant young ladies. They're very professional at what they do. They're very, very focused, and we had a great time. We had a lot of fun. We had a great time.
And I guess what is kind of the prep like now the next couple of weeks? What are you going to be working on to get ready for nationals?
Well, Taylor and I had talked about it, because I'll be moving back home, which isn't far from Concordia, but where Taylor lives and where I live back at home, it's kind of closer, so we'll probably practice at courses that are closer to our houses rather than here, but playing courses that are like the course that I'll be playing, Common Ground in Aurora. So playing courses that are link style, that type of thing, maybe a little elevation changes, that's going to be really beneficial for me, but I think for now it's kind of taking a few days off and not stressing about it, and then it's really working out those next few days leading into leaving. That's when I really have a good practice session and play some good golf.
And what do you think you need to work on going into that? What part of your game?
Well, I think that the biggest thing to work on is just consistency and tempo. And so sometimes it is good to take a couple days off, because then you don't overthink anything, because you know, if you're playing well, you can always play better. So there's going to be something that you're going to want to fix. But if you take a couple days off and then you get back into the swing of things and you practice your tempo and consistency and everything, it's really all about producing the same swing over and over and over again.
Is elevation, does that affect anything at all? You hear about the thin air in other sports? Is it
Yes,
a factor?
you bomb the golf ball off the tee, you hit it so far, it's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, there were some drives out there that we were hitting, 300 plus yards just because the ball goes forever.
How do I get there?
Yeah, you can come with.
And I guess, Taylor, just finally, having Rachel qualify the team come so close, what does that mean, do you think, for the program going forward?
It means a lot. I know the girls, they're going to work so hard, and this is only motivation. And Rachel going, and them seeing Rachel go for a second year in a row, that's huge for the team, for their motivation. I know they're very sad, very disappointed that they, didn't get to go as a team, but I'm very proud of them, and I know that it's not going to hinder us at all. So I think it's just motivation going forward, and we'll experience this, and Rachel can call the girls next year and tell them all, motivate them a little bit. So it'll be, I think everything's a blessing in disguise. So I think it's going to be really good for the program, really good for recruiting. So yeah.
All right, well, thank you both very much for joining us, and again, congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So Taylor Auman, Rachel Gray here from the women's golf team, and again, nationals, that will be May 18th through the 21st, 4 rounds of golf in Denver, so that should certainly be a lot of fun to follow, and I'm sure a lot of coverage on CUGoldenBears.com as well. So we're going to continue on with the show here, and Tom, wanted to acknowledge you here as you kind of wrap up your time here as the athletics director. We've talked about it a few times throughout the year, but I understand there was a pretty nice little ceremony for you this morning. Kind of how did that go?
Yeah, it was really nice. It was held over at Chapel at 10:10 this morning. Nice little crowd in there. It was all the coaches were there. A lot of the people that we work on a daily basis with was there. So it was really fun to see them before I ride off into the sunset and leave this mess here to lunch and Reagan and the rest of the crew. But it was really nice. It was really nice. It was fun.
What have the last few weeks been like for you? Just imagine a lot of people reaching out to you and everything.
Yeah, I'm hearing from a lot of my colleagues in the Northern Sun, wishing me luck. I don't know how far I'm going to go. I'm going to still be around. I'm not going to desert here. I'm still a fan of Concordia. I'm still a fan of the athletics department. And I'll be at that first home football game. I'll be at the Ganglaw Center for some volleyball and some basketball and whatever is going on. So I'm not going very far. I'll be, if Lunch or Reagan or anybody needs help throughout the course of their time here, I'll be happy to help in any way I can help. And I'm still a fan, So I'm not going very far.
In a lot of ways, it'll probably be nice to just enjoy it as a fan a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm going to go complain about everything.
So I know too that they've announced a golf tournament being set up for June.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, June 24th. As you may or may not know, over the last number of years, we held that tournament out at Tartan Park. Tartan Park closed recently, and so we had to find a new home course. So we ended up going out to River Oaks. It's down on Highway 61 near Cottage Grove. It's going to be on June 24th, a Friday. A 1 o'clock shotgun start, includes lunch and a dinner afterwards, along with all the prizes. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time. It's what I'm a little scared about, a little nervous, is in the past we've had 27 holes that we could fill out with at least one foursome on each hole. Well, this year we're going down to 18 holes, so I think it's going to fill up fast. And so I encourage people who are interested in playing in the golf tournament, get your information in. Just let somebody know that you want in, and we'll save some spots for everybody. And but it's really a great event. It's a lot. It's a fundraiser. It's a friend-raiser, and it's a chance to come out and for alumni to come out and reconnect with their former coaches and some players, some teammates, some former teammates, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping that we can fill it up and have a great time.
And is that through the website? They can get in touch with CUGoldenBears.com?
Yep, CUGoldenBears.com. You know better than I where to find it, I guess, but that's on CUGoldenBears.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Lunch, you're going to be joining us here for the rest of the show, and obviously we've talked about kind of making the transition here. Any kind of final thoughts for you here, Farouz? I'm sure you've talked quite a bit here over the past few weeks, but.
Well, I don't have any final thoughts. I hope nothing's really final.
Well,
in fact, if Rubes is going away, I'm just starting. I'm just going to take it slow. I'm not gonna try to come in here and reinvent the wheel, because I don't know how to reinvent the wheel. I'm gonna use Tom as an advisor and trust Reagan and the rest of the staff. And he's got a great staff in place. It's not like I have to come in here and hire a bunch of people. It's just kind of hopefully hit the ground and keep it rolling and not take a step backwards. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm sure Lunch has got some ideas as to how he wants to do some things a little differently, and that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's you want to do you want to have your own niche and your own style and how you do things, and that's a good thing. Time for some. There's time for a little bit of change here now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I know I said it, I think, earlier this year, but it's been a pleasure working for you and a lot of fun hosting the show with you this year, and best of luck to you, and I'm sure we'll see you around.
Yeah, I'm going to step aside and let Lunch take over.
All right, that sounds good. That's what we'll have on the other side of this break. We're going to be talking baseball and some women's basketball as well as we continue on with Golden Bear Insider.
It was January 14th, 2011, playoff time, when mere mortals fall, but the great ones create their own destiny. Like Barry Patterson and his against all odds Hail Barry. He launched it past the front line, cleared the secondary, and threaded the needle to victory.
Buffalo Wild Wings, Wing Spear Sports.
Success doesn't just happen. It takes work. At Northwestern Mutual, we'll help you build a financial plan and stick with it, doing the little things that can lead to big rewards.
Welcome back to Golden Bear Insider. Dan Flanagan with you here from Buffalo Wild Wings, Lunch McKenzie, and we're going to start out with the transition here, talking about baseball. Pretty natural fit as we've got Tanner Holmquist, Kody Knaus joining us here, and a lot of doubleheaders recently for you guys. You did have the midweek bye this week, get a little extra time before Winona State this weekend, but overall, I guess it's been a little up and down over the past few weekends, but have you been relatively happy with the way the team's been playing?
Yes and no. We lost 2 one-run extra inning games on Sunday. You go home, I don't know if depressed is the word, but you're pretty down. And, we missed some opportunities, we feel, but we've won so many one-run games that, when we win a one-run game, we think, we did everything right. I'm sure the other team feels the exact same way. But then yesterday we had the day off, and all we did was watch the scoreboard, and everybody's beating everybody in this league. So there's no easy team. So any day anybody can get you. So you just gotta try to keep your head above water. We did a good job last week. We were 5-2, and our pitching was ridiculous. I saw that when they sent out the stats this weekend. Our ERA was like a 1.37 for the whole week, and 47 strikeouts and 45 innings. You get caught up in the games day to day, and I didn't realize we were pitching that well. I knew we were pitching, but pretty incredible. So, we're 5 games over 500. We put ourselves in a position based on some things yesterday that we're in the playoffs. And for the first time since 2008, when we won the tournament the last time, we can line up our pitching for next Wednesday, whereas opposed to the last 3 years, we've had to come in and win games on this weekend and use our guys. So, yeah, we've got an opportunity to kind of approach it a little bit differently, but we're going to go down to Winona and try to win 4 games.
And I imagine it's kind of nice for you, too. You've had Josh Lenz, especially, that's pitched very well in some of the midweek games. You did that last weekend, but now can add some of those players to the bullpen and get a little extra boost as well.
Yeah, it's a whole different deal now just because, when you're playing 10 games a week in 8 days, your pitching lineup is different. As much as you don't want to look ahead to the next, 3 days from now, hey, we got to have a starter, you have to do that, and we don't need to do that now. We can go down there and get ourselves set up to play 2 games, and by then the guys that pitch in the weekend will have enough rest if we get to play a 3rd game. So, yeah, it's guys will have different roles, but we're excited about it.
A couple injuries, as you would certainly expect, through a long stretch have forced you to shuffle things a little bit, but are you pretty comfortable with the lineup you have right now?
Well, we had another injury yesterday, and we lost Isaac Horman for the season, basically. He broke his jaw, got hit with an errant throw. So that's pretty disappointing. He was going to play second base for us. Alex Laporte earlier was out for the season, and he was a second baseman, so I don't know if anybody's going to want to go over there. We might have to put a shift on and play 2 shortstops, but, it's difficult. Eric Foshnow was sick. He had the flu. We had a flu run through the team. He couldn't play on Sunday. We lost his 2 one-run games. The kids went out and did their best, but you know, it makes you appreciate what we had out there with Laporte and Foshnow for 4 years. And but we've got some young guys, and they're going to get an opportunity, and it's cool, you know, in a way, because they haven't got to play much, and now they're going to get to play in meaningful games, and hopefully somebody steps up and plays well and helps us win the tournament.
Kody, once mentioned the pitching the team has had recently, and you were certainly a big part of that with the complete game shutout on Saturday. What was working well for you in that outing?
We just kept working on it all week, just hitting the ball low or getting the ball in the low spots. So we just been working on that. I mean, that was big for all the hitters. It's tough to hit a pitch in the bottom of the zone. So we just been focusing on that. And
been getting a little deeper into games. Pitch count's gone up a little bit. 7 innings, I think, the last 2 starts. You starting to feel in a good groove, getting your innings built up, and you can go a little deeper now.
Yeah, just getting the pitch count up when the adrenaline's going. It's different when you're in a bullpen to compared to a game. So being in a game for longer innings is good for myself.
Tanner, how have things been going for you? We talked to you early on in the year with a lot of the power, a lot of home runs, and kind of been mixing time between DH and left field. How's the adjustment gone kind of in your first year here at Concordia?
Well, right away this season I did real well personally, and then lately I feel like I haven't been, you know, not as good as my first half of the year. But you know, baseball is such an up and down sport. You just kind of try to find that little thing that you want to tweak. So that's why a season's good, is to find that little thing. So I think I found that right now. I hit a couple balls hard in my past couple games, but right at people. So I'm going to try to take that little tweak and, you know, bring it into the conference tournament, because I feel like that'll help me. And so, yep.
You feel like teams are pitching you a little bit differently?
Well, I've moved up, down in the lineup, 3rd, 4th, and then 5th and 6th. You know, you try to, maybe it's kind of a mind thing where you think you're getting pitched at differently, but it's all pretty much the same, but just where you're comfortable. So, yeah.
And I guess for both of you, we'll talk a bunch about this as well. Going into the tournament, Kody, you've been to the conference tournament before. What do you kind of, did you change your approach at all for that, or what have you kind of learned from previous years?
From previous years, I don't know, our coach talks about it all the time, about keeping an even keel no matter what, just playing against the game, not against your opponent. And I think that's the biggest part, is just keeping an even keel throughout the whole thing. And just it's just another game, approach it just like another game.
And you mentioned Bunch being able to set the rotation. Kind of what else is your approach for these games with Winona? They certainly do still have some importance as you try to get a good seed.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the second base situation is interesting, and you know, we've discussed some things. I may play 4 different guys into 4 different games, and see. Basically, we're going to ask someone to go out and make routine plays, and if they come up in a bunting situation, be able to get a bunt down. You know, if 2 or 3 of the kids can show me that they can go out there and field the ball and make routine plays, I can even kind of do a National League thing where if a guy comes up in a spot and I want to pinch hit a Tom Austin or Steckler, somebody on the bench, to Kirchhoff, somebody on the bench that can maybe come up and launch the ball, I could do that and then run another guy out there. So, you know, and somebody might make, you know, Adam Hildebrand's going to get to run out there the first game tomorrow. Hildy goes out and plays well, maybe we just keep him there. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do there, but you know, other than that, we're going to approach it the same. You know, losing Isaac, he's our number 2 hitter, and we already went through it with Port, so we've lost 2 guys that are hitting about 360. But once again, that's the valuable thing about having some depth, you know, and the guys all fight for each other. I mean, I talked to Ike today. He's going in and get his jaw wired shut here at 1:30, and he said, "It's okay, coach. It could have hit my eye." So he's more concerned. He's more upset because he can't play to help the team win, is what he told me. And that's how the guys play. So everybody's going to fight for each other, and we're going to go play hard. But yeah, we're going to go down to Winona to try to win these games. There's no reason. And they got more pressure than us. They're not in it yet, so we'll see how they handle that.
Kody and Tanner, just kind of how do you guys feed off each other? You know, you mentioned Isaac and some of the injuries you've had, and also just kind of being at some of the games here and you guys in the dugout, really, you know, building each other up quite a bit. How much does that help you out there?
Helps a lot. I mean, when you know that the guy next to you, you know, is going to be there no matter what. I mean, we do have a deep lineup, so you can count on that person who maybe hasn't played as much, but you know that they have been put in that position before and can produce and can back you up. So it's nice to know that you have a full lineup of guys that even maybe haven't played as much, but still will be there just, you know, 100% for you.
And when you get into the tournament, and obviously you're not going to know for a while who you'd be playing in that first game, things like that, but how much do you kind of coach to matchups, looking at what that other team has as you maybe set up your lineup or who's going to pitch on a particular day?
Well, I mean, there's a good chance Kody's going to start game one. We're going to discuss it with John and Marcus. We've been discussing it. As far as the lineup goes, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. I might go back to the original lineup where I put the boppers at the top and run Fuzzy up to 2 and go that way with Alex and Ike out of the lineup. But, Carter Schmidt's been swinging pretty good. So, a month ago, he was either not playing or hitting at the bottom of the order. Now he's showing me that he's not scared and he can go up there and compete. So we can maybe bump that up. So it's just everybody pick everybody up, and so I'm not going to make anything drastic. It's not going to be any big changes, but lefty righty. We've only got a couple left-handed hitters because Mensch is hurt. So I mean, even if they're throwing a right-hander or a left-hander, that's not a big deal for us. So right now, lineup's actually pretty simple for me right now, but. I just got to trust the guys to go out and give me their best and play, and I'll get the heck out of the way.
And so I'm sure it's just kind of been a mindset of your goal going in, make the conference tournament, and now really the focus just on let's take that next step after making it the last few years and see what kind of a run you can get on. It's kind of what you're all talking about.
Yeah.
Anytime.
We feel good about our chances. Yeah. Absolutely. It's anybody can win in this league. You've got 4 teams in the top 8 in the region. We didn't beat Duluth, but they won 18 straight. Nobody was beating Duluth, but the other 3 teams we've beaten, and so we feel good about our chances, and we're excited. We're excited to be there, and I'm pleased with the situation the guys have put us in. So.
And it'll start midweek next week?
Starts Wednesday, yeah. We don't know what time. The earliest we could play is 11. It's in St. Cloud.
It'll be in St. Cloud?
Yep.
So yeah, baseball tournament coming up midweek next week. And Kody and Tanner, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So again, that will be Winona State this weekend. Concordia wrapping up the regular season on the road against Winona State and then getting ready for the conference tournament. So we're going to close out the show talking about women's basketball, and bunch pretty exciting announcement made about that sport here over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Amanda Behnke was hired as our full-time coach, and we're all really excited about that. And she's going to do a great job. She did a great job this year coming in and filling in when Paul Fessler left. And so we're excited about that, and excited to hear what she has to say here. I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and talk to her personally because we've been traveling and playing. So this will be fun to hear right here.
We'll be joined by Amanda and also assistant coach Ashley Ellis-Milan. And both of you, thank you very much for joining us, closing out the show here today.
Of course. Glad to be here.
And I guess just in general, how have the last few weeks been? You announcement made, I believe, about 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm sure, kind of a little bit of uncertainty when the season ended up, but just as you start to settle in now with getting that full-time job.
They've been good. With school kind of getting out, we've had a couple team meetings at the end of the year just to talk about things, what we want for them for the summer. But it's kind of relief. It was a little bit of a waiting period with everything going on at the end of the year. But I'm very happy and relieved that I have the job. I love Concordia. It's home to me, being a student athlete back in the day. I couldn't be more happy to be continuing my coaching career at Concordia. So I'm thrilled to be staying here.
I know in watching the team last year, it was pretty impressive right when you took over. You were able to make a few lineup changes right away, showed quite a bit of confidence coming into that interim role, and obviously you knew the program pretty well. What was just, when you found out you were going to be the interim head coach, what was your thought process and what did you kind of want to do to approach that role?
I was scared to death at first. I was like, what just happened? But being a basketball player for so long, I knew the game. Once I got comfortable, we made a couple adjustments, and with my assistant, we just kind of took over and we're really comfortable with who we're going to start, how we're going to play things, what offense and defense we're going to run. It was just getting comfortable and being confident, and once that came, it just kind of flowed for us. And it made me just so thankful that I had this opportunity to really be the interim coach for the second half of the year. And the girls really responded very well. They listened, they believed in us, and that was huge because when it came down to a couple close games, they really trusted us as coaches to execute a couple plays for them.
And Ashley, for you, you think about going up from assistant coach to interim head coach, but you went up to the top assistant role as well. What were kind of the changes that came with that role?
I think it was just it was more responsibility. Dealing with the players, I was able to do that before as a GA, but just more responsibility. I feel like I have a little bit more say on some things. And Amanda's been very great, just keeping it open for me and my ideas and, what works and what doesn't. And that's probably the only adjustment.
What was the biggest thing both of you learned during that stretch of a couple months that you can now use going forward here to the full-time job?
For me, it was in crunch time, how to react, what to do with the players, just having plays ready to go, my body language with the players, not freaking out as an assistant. I wasn't in charge, so I didn't really have to make the calls. As a head, you really have to be ready to make the calls. So I think just adjusting to that and being confident when a big call to make, just to be ready to take over the game and make the call and deal with the referees and handle the on-court stuff like that.
You guys were both great players. How does it compare preparing to coach as opposed to playing? I mean, as far as your mental, your makeup, just your attitudes, just all of that.
Okay, for me personally, I think it's more every kid is different and every kid isn't going to be like you. And that's the difference from going from a player to a coach mentality is a lot of times you think that, okay, just because I did this, my kids can do this too, but that's not what it is. And I think that you have to kind of cater to the needs of the student athlete and to their best abilities and how can we as a staff bring that out in them. And that was probably it for me.
I would say it's different on the court as a player. I didn't really get nervous. I was so into the game and I was so competitive that I didn't think about anything else but just playing. As a coach, it's much different. It's a little more nerve-wracking. You're on the sideline. You can't really get on the court and play for them. So it's more just adjusting your game plan as telling the girls what to do instead of being able to go out there and play. So just learning how to take over the game from watching instead of being on the court.
Does that kind of apply into how you set up the style of the team as well? You were both very talented post players, and certainly like any team that's going to be part of your identity, but also just being able to adapt to kind of whatever talent you have and setting up your style of play?
Yes, and we adjust things on our style of play. We had some quicker guards, so we pressed a little bit. Our guards were our big scorers this year. We do love our post players. Caitlin did a really good job this year, and we're really working with her this summer to be a huge impact in the post. So that's kind of our baby is our post players, but we cannot just, our guards were awesome this year. At the end of the stretch, Anna Schmidt, Lauren Shiflett, and Shay Jones really led our offense. But next year we really want to get some big looks from our post player, Caitlin, being inside.
I don't know how much you can talk about it yet at this point, but I'm sure you've been recruiting over the past few weeks as well. And anything you can say there, or what type of players you're targeting? Yes,
we have 3 incoming players we have signed. We have Cassidy Bird, she'll be a post player coming from Wisconsin. We have Lexi Lee, she's a transfer from the University of Sioux Falls. She's from Maranatha Christian. And then we have Bree Miller from Lakeville South, and she's a 3-4 guard. So those girls will be players that we want to come in and play right away. Lexi will have to sit out, but she'll take Shay Jones' spot as a point guard, when she graduates. And then we're still hoping to get one more post player, so that's kind of in the works. But as of right now, we have those 3 player signs for next year.
You had a really difficult job being an interim coach and not having that full-time label, and the fact that you got 3 girls already committed is a testimony, and testimony to those girls too. For trusting the process, because I know the other teams were using that against you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That was tough when we had girls on campus because I couldn't quite say that I was going to get the job. It was up in the air. I was hopeful for it, but I couldn't say I was. But they just believed in it, and I think they also know the good program that Concordia has and to play basketball. So we were very thankful getting those girls to still come with the process that went down.
Well, congratulations on that, because we're real proud of that.
Thank you.
That speaks volumes.
Thank you.
I got to imagine here now going forward, especially the way the season ended, you win a conference tournament game, team played very well down the stretch. There's, for both of you, a lot of excitement now just being able to build on that and really carry it forward now into next year.
Yeah, I think next year we are going to set goals. We want to finish top in the conference. Our end of the year, how we finished, it just shows how good we can be. We're only losing one senior, Kiana Nix, so we're returning all of our starters, which is awesome. We had Lauren Shiflett go out with a knee injury at the end, but she should be back for the beginning of the season. So we are really going to set some good team goals, because I think we have really high expectations for our players next year and their team, and we're going to keep reminding them that we had a strong finish to the end of the year, and that's what we want to come back and just come out, be ready to go.
What do you kind of like to have them do over the summer? I imagine they can get together and do some workouts, things of that nature?
Yep, we actually just made them their summer workout book, so they'll have that they'll do this summer with lifting and on-courts. And then they also play in a YWCA league once a week, Wednesday night, so they'll get together and play right here in the cities every Wednesday night just to scrimmage a couple of teams, which will be good for them.
And then when does the team get together for practices in the fall?
When school starts up again, and then our official practice start date is October 15th, when we can practice again as a team. But we'll start on-court workouts pretty much when school starts around that time.
All right. Well, Amanda and Ashley, again, congratulations, and we thank you for joining us here today. Good luck coming up in the spring and winter here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And so, that was Amanda Behnke, Ashley Ellis-Milan, a Golden Bear insider here from Buffalo Wild Wings in St. Paul. And Lunch, thank you for helping us finish out the show here. I guess just one more time, talked about it a little bit earlier. If you want to tell people a little bit about that golf tournament, that's kind of the big thing coming up over the summer.
June 24th, and it's going to be a fun time. It's always a fun time, and come on out and see us. Hopefully we get some good weather, and we raise funds for Concordia Athletics, and we're excited. We're excited about it, and we appreciate all your support.
And again, you can find that information about signing up for that at cugoldenbears.com, and certainly can check everything out at that site. Won't be quite as busy, I'm sure, over the summer, but get you updated on everything that's going on. And thank you for watching throughout the year. We've had a lot of fun doing the show, and once a month here, we again thank Buffalo Wild Wings for their hospitality. And we'll see if we maybe come back next fall, kind of see how that all works out, but definitely check out the website, cugoldenbears.com, for all the information. So, again, for all of our guests, Tom Rubbelke, McKenzie, this has been Dan Flanagan. Thank you so much for watching Golden Bear Insider.